All right, welcome back. This is Sports Zone on Joy Prime. Show is brought to you by Soccer Bet, also by Piva Viva, and also by Guinness. Thank you very much for joining us tonight on the show. I've been joined by Daniel Cranton tonight. Sitio Philip stream has not been able to join us. The man is unwell. Me, the if I talk, they say I like throwing people under the bus. He's under the weather, so I'm throwing him under the bus. But DK and I are representing Ghana, man, in our nice African print. Oh, your shirt is nice.
Your shirt is also nice.
Thank you.
Why do you have to tell the people that Sitio is?
Sitio, no.
Why do you have to?
Sitio, he's unwell. He's popoing.
That one is true, man.
You spoke to him. You were shivering. Shivering. Yeah. You just said that thing, you jump. Man, you sick, then you shiver like this. I mean, I don't understand it.
If you join.
DK, think about it. Let's be in all sincerity.
But why if you sick?
If you be man where you is sick, you can't be a man and be sick. Yes, yeah. You can't be a man and be sick and then be popoing. Then you are doing. I'm not well. That's what Sitio sounded like this morning. He sent me a message. I'll go play the audio and then go play the audio to the people.
But I don't want to listen anything. I don't want to listen anything.
He sent me audio this morning. Where my microphone is? He didn't hear.
Why you don't want that?
Where my mic? My mic is here. Sitio sent me a message this morning. Say, listen, Sitio sent me a message. Say.
So I beg, quickly make me a ring, make somebody sit in for me for the show. Yeah, thanks.
You say, I don't finish it.
Charlie, what's up? Charlie, I woke up over the dawn and this morning, I feel a big federation. Some way. So I don't step out today, I just did. So I beg, quickly make me a ring, make somebody sit in for me for the show.
So, this not the sickness.
You hear the way it sound? I wake up. So I make you arrange somebody sitting from the show.
This no be sickness voice. This be morning voice.
If you what?
This be normal morning.
The guy say he is sick.
This be normal morning voice. He maintains. I think say they can't do anything.
Anyway, but what it means is that we can get through so much more. So much more.
You are the merrier. I make sorry, Sitio. Speedy recovery.
Sitio say they like throw people under the bus. Next time.
But I know they try.
Hey, I know they try.
But I know they try.
All right, guys, welcome to the show. Look, you know what we're gonna do? Because Sitio no day here. Sitio in submissions today, all will belong to the people who are viewing the show tonight.
Yeah, quick.
So so tonight I can read like 100 messages.
600 billion.
Thank you very much, Dadeki. So please send your message because as Sitio no day here, every time Danny is done, I'm reading messages.
Quick.
Every time Danny is done, reading messages.
Quick.
Hey, Benaya, what have you done to the screen? What is that? DK, tell us something.
You remember that thing when the TVs go on break? Then, then that thing.
Like back in the day.
Back in the day.
GTV.
Yeah, if they close the station, you go do.
No signal. Hey, Benaya.
But what Benaya do?
You want to take me back to the...
At the song. I mean, Ghana man, so they do through.
All right, let's go to the UAE. The Black Queens, they trained today, and they've been giving assurances that they are safe. Remember that they are in the United Arab Emirates to participate in the Pink Ladies Cup. And they played their first game on Saturday against Hong Kong. They won that particular match by 4-0. And later that evening, the conflict obviously escalated and, they started to drop missiles and stuff like that. And all the girls were scared and they were told to pack up and get ready for any eventuality, perhaps possible evacuation, which they did. But then the foreign minister released a statement and said that he had reached out to them and that they were doing well. The sports minister said the same thing. But the truth is, all flights are grounded, airspace is closed, so they can't even come home, even if they wanted to. So the tournament organizers have decided that it is safe enough for them to continue to participate in the competition. So they'll play their second match on Tuesday, which is tomorrow, against Russia. Then their final game is on Friday against Tanzania. But I've been told that if the airspace and flights resume before Friday, they might cut their losses and leave and come home. But if not, then potentially they could be there much longer. Remember, they are using this competition as a preparatory match or tournament for the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, which starts on March 17. And the worst case scenario would be that the airspace remains closed up until March or past March 17. I don't know what could potentially happen there. But okay, this, from yesterday, Sunday, especially in the morning, it was very scary. Some of the girls were sending videos from their hotel room. And even though they said that the action was a bit far from them, the fact that you could still witness those things happening around you must have been very, very scary indeed.
Yeah, it was scary. One thing that happened, the immediate thought is you go to friends and family you have living in those regions, and then you reach out just to make sure that everybody is safe. Yeah. Obviously, when the video started, it was breaking news. It took everybody by surprise. Immediately, we all remember that the Black Queens were there. Then frantic efforts, trying to reach out to the girls, finding out if everything was okay. But I think the leadership of the team handled it very well. I think the calm they showed, the maturity they showed in that situation must be commendable, because it's shocking. You go random trip outside the country to prepare for a major competition. All of a sudden, you are hearing bombs flying around. It's not something that somebody will come and say he has experience in. It's a new thing. Yeah. And I think they handled it really well. Foreign Ministry also, for the speed in which they reacted and delivered the communication just to calm the nerves. And even the organizers of the competition, for them to assess the situation and see that it's safe enough to continue. And it's not just them. If you look at videos on social media, life is beginning to go on. Yeah. Yes, in the affected areas it's a bit different, but everywhere else, life is going on. So I think the direction is a proper thing to do. Once it's safe, once the assessment has been made and it's safe to go, you continue with the reason why you went there, which is to prepare yourself, get yourself mentally ready, physically ready. Of course, he played brilliantly in that first game one. Proceed if the airspace is clear and you think that it's necessary that you need to come back, then you can come. But other than that, I would not mind them finishing the competition before they come. But you've mentioned a very interesting thing, because the airspace has to be cleared, because I don't know what is going to happen if the AFCON are some way. You don't even know. It's another matter. But if it's going to continue, then the Queens will have to finish, and hopefully they are clear to fly back as soon as possible. But again, salutes to the leadership of the team, the GFA, the Foreign Ministry. I think they handled the situation really well, and we thank God that the girls are safe. Yeah.
And Daniel mentioned the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. In fact, was it on Friday? There were lots of reports, again, not for the first time, that the tournament had been cancelled or postponed or whatever. But there's been some silence from the Confederation of African Football, and I haven't even seen a lot of activity even from the host nation, Morocco, or even from the organizers, CAF, regarding the competition. And it's supposed to start on March 17. Today is March 2. So we're 15 days away from the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. And there's so many stories and so much uncertainty around the competition. Look, usually before now, you would see squad being released and all of this. But it appears there's absolutely nothing happening. Because, I mean, it's bizarre.
Yeah, and look, I think CAF should just come out. I know the first time it happened, they came out and they said we should dismiss it. But it's important to come out again, because we are even closer to the competition. And this is very much unlike CAF.
Yes.
We know they even put in more energy in the WAFCON and the other women's competitions even than the men. In terms of promotional material flying on social media, they put in a lot of effort. So if we are seeing that something is changing, you are not making as much noise as you usually do for the competition. Then, there's something wrong somewhere. So they need to come out and quickly clarify, because teams are prepared. Black Queens are in Dubai. Nigeria are prepared. Everybody is prepared and waiting for
Black Queens are there with Tanzania.
With Tanzania, who also coming to the competition. So clarity needs to quickly be communicated. So we know exactly what we are doing. If it's not happening, then we know it's not happening.
Yeah.
If it's happening, then you know. Because you see, even from the player's point of view,
it doesn't help.
In the mind, you are not too sure. Like, the work I'm putting in, is it guaranteed that in 2 weeks I'm going to be playing this competition, or is stop, start, stop, start? So they need to know exactly what is going on and quickly come out and bring clarity to the situation. So CAF seriously need to release a statement. I don't know why they've been so quiet on this matter, but they have to come out and say.
Because, I mean, there are options available for CAF, in case of a postponement. And we know that ever since the AFCON finals, there have been tensions between Morocco and CAF.
Yeah.
That is documented. We've seen interviews from ex-CAF, ESCO members, some member association presidents. We've seen the response even from the Moroccan authorities themselves to the ruling of the CAF Disciplinary Committee and the sanctions they handed out to Senegal. You can tell that there are people that are not happy with the way things went. And originally, it took the South African Ministry of Sport to come and tell us that they had been contacted as potential emergency hosts for the tournament. Before CAF came out and said, nope, the tournament is going ahead as scheduled in Morocco. But then, even up until that point, we never heard anything from Morocco.
Yeah.
Because what's the standard practice? If I'm hosting a competition and there's so many reports about me about the competition going to another place or that the competition could be cancelled, forget the organizers. What about the host?
Because
it's an indictment for anybody.
They themselves need to come out and clarify the situation. Because was it 2 years ago or last year, the under 20, was it under 20 or under 23 AFCON that was supposed to happen, I think in Egypt?
Cote d'Ivoire.
And it was sent
to Egypt. Yeah.
To Egypt. A very similar thing. Very close to the competition, we began to hear reports. And then Cote d'Ivoire came out and said they can't do it.
Yes.
Simple. So if we can't do it, then CAF knows that, okay, fine, you can't do it. And quickly we make a change. But the silence of Morocco, you've mentioned, is very important. The silence of Morocco is also kind of suspicious. Because South Africa said something that they are ready.
Quite disrespectful, right?
Yeah.
If you are hosting it.
So if you are the host, come and tell us that you are ready. But they still not said anything. It's all CAF.
Deal with the South Africans for jumping the...
Yeah, exactly. Because what are you telling me? Like, I have proven time and time again that I'm more than capable of hosting a top-class competition.
Yeah.
So if you come out and you see the statement she made, well, if the Moroccans can't do it, we are here. That was her way. So it's not that she just said they are ready.
Yes.
As you said, it was quite disrespectful to Moroccans. But they still not said anything.
Nope.
So it's now beginning to make it even more suspicious. And maybe there was some truth to what the South African woman was saying. And again, if truly the competition is going to go ahead, and it's not going to go ahead in Morocco, and it's going to go ahead in South Africa, CAF need to say something. Because even the choice of venue for camping, Ghana has gone to Dubai because we think that the thing is in Morocco.
True.
So we could have gone somewhere else to prepare for the competition if they now decide to. And again, the Cote d'Ivoire-Egypt situation happened really late, and there were plenty reports surrounding that thing. CAF should have just come out to clarify it early. They didn't. They waited, and then last minute, teams were even... Some people had booked and got their visas to Cote d'Ivoire, were preparing to go to Cote d'Ivoire, and then all of a sudden, they have to fly to...
We all had plans for Cote
d'Ivoire, and then we all had to go to Egypt at the end of the day. And you see, it's two different parts of Africa. So then camping just goes to waste. You're just going to play football. But in terms of acclimatizing to the climate, to the everything, it's completely different. So again, CAF need to come out. Yeah, Morocco, but Morocco and maybe they're angry. So like I get it, they don't care. But CAF, they are the main organizers. And if anything goes wrong, it looks bad on them first, because Morocco have a track record of doing hosting. So even in the next competition, if they come back and they say they will host, they still have the ability to do it. It's CAF. It will be more of an indictment to CAF if this thing doesn't happen.
The other thing, and that's the last thing on this, is that even if Morocco were to say today that they would not host a tournament, obviously the timeline has to change.
Yeah.
Because there's no way any other country can host a competition starting March 17 if Morocco pull out.
Yeah.
So then what happens? CAF basically will have two options. move up the timeline and find a suitable date, which could get tricky, or cancel this year's competition altogether and use the representatives from the last competition, the 4 semi-finalists, as Africa's representatives at the FIFA Women's World Cup next year, 2027 in Brazil. Because that is the main function of this year's AFCON, is to get, apart from choosing a champion, obviously, is also to get representatives for the FIFA Women's World Cup next year. So if the tournament isn't played, CAF still has to present candidates. And what would be how would they do that? They might have to fall back to the performances from last year's edition of the tournament. Or perhaps move up the date to maybe August of this year, after the World Cup. That would be outside of any window. So there would be some fight between national teams and
it will be very difficult because as at now, the number of, especially the star players in Africa are all playing in the European leagues. And it will be very difficult for the European clubs to release their superstars to come and play in AFCON when it's outside the window. This is not like men's football where, because it's during the window, the clubs are obliged to release players certain days to the competition. This time around, the clubs will have the power. The women's clubs will have the power. And I doubt a top side is releasing their superstar to go and play in a WAFCON competition when the season has started and when you are still trying to grapple for points. So, look, if it doesn't happen, it's a lose-lose for CAF, especially because of the lack of communication. The fact that teams have gone out, invested in. Look, we've spent money on camping. We've sent the girls, we are paying them per DM. It's money. People have gone out, prepared for the competition. If it doesn't happen, do not mind too much.
Oh, no. I was going to say that.
We finished 10, so we are going to the top 3 quick. So if it doesn't happen, like, we will no ball. We'll just take it that this investment.
But some countries will be angry.
Yeah, because
you see, Zambia.
Yeah, because you have made you feel like you've made steps and you are going to correct the mistakes this time around.
And there's no chance to do it.
So look,
that would be crazy. Anyway, so let's hear from you. What do you think CAF should do in this situation? 0551 5757 57. Let's come back home and do Ghana Premier League really quickly. Hearts of Oak, after their enormous victory against Kumasi Asante Kotoko, we came here and we spoke about them potentially getting back into the title race. But over the weekend, they came back to reality. 2-1 defeat at the hands of the defending champions, Gold Stars, means the Hearts of Oak are now 5 points adrift of the top and falling off further in the Premier League title race. You see the results on the left side of your screen there. Dreams FC also beating Ejana by 1-0, obviously. Bibiani Gold Stars beating Hearts of Oak 2-1. And Kumasi Asante Kotoko drawing yet again against Vision FC 0-0. So it's not going right for them as things stand. But we can roll the Hearts of Oak highlights and talk through them. Danike, Hearts of Oak, again, Didi Dramani says goal scoring is their biggest problem. And that is true because Hearts are the 3rd lowest scorers in the league. In fact, the only teams that have scored fewer goals, one of them is the team at the bottom of the table. Hearts of Oak, 17 goals this season. It's just a problem, and it doesn't look like it's a problem that Didi Dramani is capable of fixing this season.
No. What makes this result very disappointing is, first of all, you look at Hearts of Oak's very impressive defensive record this season. So if you concede a goal early in the game, and then you equalize in the second half, knowing that it's practically impossible for you to score more than 1 goal in a game.
Because that's not you.
That's not you. Defending now, your strength has to come to play. It's a no-brainer. You have to be able to defend till the end of the game. But look,
this is the second goal you're talking about. I mean, they basically just played through the Hearts of Oak defense as if there's no pressing, and there's a player lying there. I don't know what he's trying to do. And look at this. It was so much ease with which Gold Stars just attacked, and that's a beautiful cross into the danger zone.
Very good
the header was a brilliant one. Fair enough, there was some challenge to the header, but he was just too high, too difficult to defend. 2-1, and that was it. I mean, do you think that's probably the end of it? No.
No, you see, after the Super Class,
I said that goal.
I said I thought it was a one-off. In fact, I mentioned that they'll go to Bibini and go and lose. It's normal. They will lose. And I'm not surprised at the results that have happened in the games since the Super Clash. Both Hearts and Kotoko this season, in fact, not just this season, for the past couple of years, have not been at their best. What disappoints me about the title race in the Ghana Premier League this season was we've seen Midiama hit sort of a slump over the past 5 weeks, but yet nobody has been able to capitalize.
Except now, Gold Stars are just a point behind.
Yes, and they sort of snuck through. I think even the past 2 weeks, they've had this wishy-washy form. And that's a funny thing. They've had like 2 wins or 3 wins in their last 5 games, and it's been enough to close the gap. Yeah. Whereas Midiama, who have lost, once, have drawn...
In fact, in their last 4 games in the Ghana Premier League, they've lost 1 and they've drawn 3.
3, yeah.
So it's really been bad.
They are not winning, they are not losing, dropping points. And then the teams, as at the time Midiama lost that 17-match unbeaten run, the teams that we all thought would close the gap in Hearts, Kotoko, Diana are not the ones who have been able to capitalize.
Gold Stars have come from nowhere.
Gold Stars have come from nowhere. In fact, Gold Stars were outside the top 4 or the top 5 as at the time that result happened. And it's something that we expected. We all said the teams who are chasing them are just a bit too inconsistent. Diana drop points. They beat Kotoko today. You think they can build up on it. Then they go and drop points against Dreams FC. And if you want to win a title, you can't be having results like that.
But very important, though, Danike, we need to give credit to Gold Stars because they've won 4 on the bounce to get themselves back to where they are now, showing the mettle of champions. And the 4 victories have not been easy ones because they've included. It started with Swedro All Blacks at the beginning of February. Then they beat Holy Stars. And listen to this: they've now recorded victories against Heart of Lions, Bashir Hayford's Heart of Lions, and House of Oak. And they beat Lions away from home 2-1 before beating House of Oak 2-1 as well at home. So Gold Stars, what a run! And they're now firmly back into the title race.
Could make it back-to-back.
And maybe, potentially could make it back-to-back. But for me, I really want to talk about Kumasi Asante Kotoko and another draw this weekend. And it simply isn't going well for the interim coach, Prince Owusu, who took over from Karim Zito. He won 1 game against Young Apostles, but that's it. That's the only victory since he took over. And for me, it's okay to struggle a little bit as a manager. What is not okay is to try and throw players under the bus. And I listened to his post-match commentary after the match over the weekend against Vision FC. And the way he threw his players under the bus, almost called them childish and incompetent. It's unbelievable, because as a coach, you also have a duty to protect the players. You can't just go on a press conference and absolve yourself of blame and put the entire blame on the players. It's, like he completely destroyed Hubert Jau at the post-match press conference. And Joe had a great spell. So if he's struggling now, it's also your responsibility to try and help him, not beat him while he's down. And unfortunately for me, like DK, last week we had an episode on our podcast, Malam Go, where we spoke about the potential of a player coming in into right back in the Black Stars, a position that is up for grabs. And Kotoko had a candidate in that position, Lord Amwa, only for him to be injured and ruled out for the rest of the season. Yeah. That is just unfortunate. I blame the fearful.
No, it's sad, but
it is unfortunate because I can actually tell you he was in the squad for the 2 friendly matches.
Yeah, he was going to the Austria and then the Germany game.
Yeah.
But I'm happy you brought the Prince Owusu thing. And I'm also, I'll not say I'm happy Kotoko are dropping points, but I'm happy this is happening for them to understand that departments work together.
Yes.
You can't recruit players without the input of the coach. Take out certain key components of a squad and still expect the team to compete at a certain level. I was very much behind Karim Zito because he has proven time and time again that if you do your job, he will do his job. If the squad is good enough to compete, he will get the job done. Then they got rid of him. He left. And the opening press conferences of Prince Owusu were kind of subtle jabs.
Yeah.
So he essentially telling the squad is good. Now he's complaining about the same thing that we knew. But the only difference is Karim Zito didn't speak about the players in this manner.
No.
So there is a difference. If you want to be Kotoko head coach or you are Kotoko head coach, there's a way you carry yourself. You see, your press conferences carry much more power than any other team in the Ghana Premier League. Everybody can say something, but once you say it, it carries a bit more power than the rest. So he just needs to tone down a bit, especially because, and it's a Jehu thing that hurts me, because we know the climate that we are in. It's World Cup season. Everybody are pushing their players. Yeah. They are speaking good about their players. So that if there's a chance that the head coach of the Ghana Premier League is looking at some of these players,
the Black Stars, you mean?
The Black Stars. Maybe they can get the nod. But probably the brightest spot, or one of the brightest spots in the Kotoko
this season has been attacking-wise, Joe.
And then you've come out and you've trashed him. So it's very easy.
Yeah.
If anybody is against Jehu making that thing, even his own coach is saying that the guy
is not good. And people have started thinking on it.
It's very easy.
Yeah.
Even his own club coach is telling us that the guy is not good enough.
Yeah.
And from a player's point of view, and the squad, look, they are human beings.
Of course.
When you work hard and you do it, you are going through this small spell and they come out in public and they trash you like that. And it affects, look, he will look at this thing and is he now worth playing for?
Yeah.
Because it's not fair.
It's not. So Prince Owusu really needs to watch his words, speak more like a leader, speak more like a head coach, a proper head coach, protect his players. You have a duty to protect the players. The results may not be right, but players move around, coaches move around. You never know when your paths will cross again. I don't think what he did, manner in which he spoke about the players over the weekend was ideal. So I hope that both parties, that he can improve on his communication part of things, and hopefully you can turn the results around in the end. Anyway, your messages are welcome on the WhatsApp number 055-157-5757. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, Karim will come here with Ghanaian players abroad, and we will zoom straight into the action from Europe. Do stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Sports Zone on Joy Prime. My name is Fentio Tahir. Fentio Show brought to you by SoccerBet, Piva Viva, and Guinness. I have messages here. How can one person work with CocoBot and still work with the Black Stars? How can one person combine these two roles? This is just unfair. The football people are overdoing it at this point. Pa from Awushi says, does a player need to win the league before he can be deemed a legend? If the answer is yes, then I think the parameters should be reviewed. However, if the answer is no, then Bruno Fernandes is an undisputed Premier League legend. His numbers are crazy. His consistency is off the charts. Captain Magnifico. Millicent from Ashaman says, how can you hate Arsenal more than you love your own team? The hate is too much. Interesting. I don't know who you are referring to, Millicent. All right. Joseph says, hello, good evening. I listened to Sicho's analysis on Benjamin Osari last week, and I must say it's a brilliant one. I don't know why most Ghanaians are in view of dropping him as we go for the World Cup. They try to use all forms of tactics to discredit him. To me, I think it's not the best. Hi to Madrid fans. Happy Ghana month. Joseph from Bandai. Imam from Tema says, I hope that Nike is watching Lamine Yamal. I hope Barca can do a comeback tomorrow. We'll talk about that game against Atletico Madrid. I saw a video that Niki of the Simeone and the Atletico players building a brick wall inside the goal. Atletico preparing for Barcelona. He was holding a thrower. He was packing blocks.
Pack the bus, yeah.
This message says, please tell Madame something for me, okay? I just go home and I tune in late. I missed a lot already. And she want to hijack me not to watch because it's cold after the rain. But I fall asleep saying, we are watching, waiting for the bros to defend me. Oh, my brother. My brother.
This is why I can't defend you.
Watch the show, Madam. Watch the show. After the show, then your man is happier.
No. Forget Fent.
Hey, you forget me.
Fresh after the rain, you have a job to do. Go and fulfill the job. When you finish, come and watch the show. It's a job to do.
Oh,
You choose
But-
a sports zone over your God. Is a God-given directive.
my point is this. My point is this. Sports zone finishes. The guys go. But Madam will always be there.
No. Who told
That's
you?
my point.
Who told you Madam will always be there?
Let me take a couple more messages. Good evening, friend. Greetings, my main man, Danike. Friend, anytime you're fasting, I see your days at Kansek. The situation in the Middle East is very serious. We cannot gamble with that. The competition must be put on hold until the situation is kept under control. Greetings to all Chelsea fans in China. What is Castro trying to say? That when I'm fasting, I slim down, I look like when I was in Kansek or what? I don't understand it.
Well,
I look normal. Yeah, I look normal. Anyway,
It used to be true, but it's not true now.
it used to be true, but not anymore. Let's bring Karim, somebody who doesn't look normal. Hey, sorry.
You
Forgive him.
Forgiveness. Karim, what's going on? How are you?
so like what were you thinking?
I wasn't thinking. I wasn't thinking. Clearly, I was not thinking. Let's end it there.
No problem. It's Ramadan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's end it there. Your
Yes.
food is very nice.
Thank you.
Yes. How are you?
Pentu.
Where's your watch?
I'm asking you question you too.
Listen, the guy should talk. The guy is talking to you and disturbing the guy.
Daddy K, are you not wearing a watch?
I am Bakari. It is true. Where's your watch?
You're a gentleman. A gentleman must wear a watch.
No, he was wearing one. This I tell you. Yeah, you were wearing one.
Hey,
This.
wait. Who made that rule that where is it written that you must wear watch to complete dress?
I made the rule.
It doesn't apply to it. It applies to only you.
Karim the dream.
It's a universally agreed principle
It doesn't.
that a gentleman must wear a watch
Universal.
as an accessory to complete your look.
Did they ask him?
I am an exception.
You are an exception to the rule.
Yes.
So you don't look normal.
Yes.
Okay.
He say yes.
Do I look normal? The things I do.
But he was upset.
So you know that you.
Oh.
Then why were you at Massa? I'm talking for you.
Petru, I have a question.
What's the
The
question?
question is that I hear a lot of chatter about the Black Stars not having ball-playing centre backs.
Okay.
But when they play at the clubs, the kind of things you see they do looks like that is only applicable to only the Black Stars. And that may come down to coaching. This weekend, if you look at the whole back line, let's look at Manu Dia. He plays for San Diego FC. It's a right to dream club. Now they play in the MLS. Over the weekend, they played against St. Louis. That is, they won 2-0. And in that game, he attempted 94 passes.
From what position? Centre back.
As a centre back, 94 passes. Misplaced only one, 94. And he misplaced only one. That is 99% passing accuracy. Now Joseph Edu plays for Celta Vigo. They won 2-1 against Girona. He attempted 62 passes. Out of those 62, he misplaced just 2. Then Kojo Pepperopon plays for Nice. They lost, though, to FC Paris. And in that game, he attempted 80 passes, completed 75 of them. So from all these players, then Gideon Mensah also plays for Eyogze. They drew 2-2 against Lorraine, that is in the Ligue 1. Out of the 66 passes he attempted as well, also misplaced just 6 of them, that is completed 60 passes in that game. So if you look at the whole back line, it's like they are
All playing gurus.
so maybe it may come down to instructions when they play in the Black Stars, So we have.
Then
the
again,
players.
the question is, out of these 4, only one of them plays regularly for the Black Stars.
True, that is Gideon Mensah, and it means that we have the material.
Because we are looking at the Rodoran direction.
Yes. So the materials are there. It's just about how to use them. So Edu, now that Salisi is out, and he's now also playing very well for Celta Vigo after going out injured for a while. And now maybe...
He also got injured on Black Star duty, right? Yeah.
That is like in 2024. Yeah. And now that he's just getting fit and getting back into his rhythm. So then Atizigi played for St. Gallen. They won 2-1 against Winterthur. In that game, He made 3 saves in that game. Then Augustin Boache, now he's on a roll. That is, he plays for Saint-Etienne, that is in the League 2. They won against FC Pau. That is, in that game, he provided 2 assists. The kind of passes he's dishing out. The issue is that he's also having these fitness issues. A few games, you see that he's injured. Then Iñaki Williams also scored a spectacular goal for Athletic Club, and they won against Sociedad, just 1-0. It was a volley. It was a really fantastic goal for them. Then Antoine Semenyo did the job for Man City against Leeds United, and that is his 14th goal. And now, no Ghanaian has ever done that in the Premier League. And this season, he has 16 goals in all competitions. Then, Joseph Opoku, he plays for Zulte Waregem. They lost 2-1 to Machelen, that is in the Belgian top flight. But again, he delivered an assist. That is his 4th. He was supposed to be number 5, but they didn't credit him with 1. And now he has 5 goals and 4 assists. So basically, that is the wrap.
That's it. Thank you very much, Karim. I have one question for you. I think it's an established fact that at the moment, the most pressing need of the Black Stars is a right back.
Yeah.
Do we have any right backs anywhere in the world that could potentially get an invitation maybe to try out for that position, which is up for grabs at the moment?
Well, the one I've always been mentioning is Tyrese Asante, but this weekend he didn't play. He plays for Maccabi Tel Aviv, but he's of dual nationality. He was born in the Netherlands, plays for Maccabi Tel Aviv, plays regularly in Europe for them. He's a player I believe has a lot of potential, but processes needs to be followed. I'm not sure that those can be completed before the World Cup. But a player that was also in the Ghana Premier League and was doing really well, if he had not left the Ghana Premier League, would have been Mahmoudou, Kamara Mahmoudou. He was scoring, he scored 5 goals in the Ghana Premier League, was the highest scoring center defender in the Ghana Premier League before he went to Al Hilal in Sudan. Now he plays in the CAF Champions League. Hopefully, he also puts himself into the conversation.
Interesting. All right. Thank you very much, Karim. That's Karim with Ghanaian players abroad, which means now we can take you to England and show you some Premier League action, beginning with Manchester United's game against Crystal Palace. So, what a brilliant striker's goal. Bruno Fernandes with a pinpoint cross. What a superb performance from Bruno Fernandes in this particular game. And all of the praise for Bruno Fernandes, thoroughly deserved. Last week we talked about him, Danny K, but every game, whether United are struggling, whether United are playing well, he just finds the next level.
Yeah, he's a ridiculously good player. It's very difficult for a player to keep that level in a team that is dysfunctional. Man United has gone through so many different players, managers, since Bruno has come to the club, yet his performances have been...
He's always the standout.
Yeah, the only season where he didn't create the most chances, so he's been in the Premier League, I think this is 5th season. In every single season, he's created the most chances except one, where Kevin De Bruyne created just one more chance than him. And that is a level that he's performing at. And you always say that assists are finishing dependent. So the person you are playing with or the people you are playing with can influence your assist numbers. So I choose to look at chances created more as it's more for how good and how creative you are. And Bruno Fernandes is that guy. Now, if somebody's playing with Haaland and somebody's playing with Højlund, of course there will be a difference in terms of assists. But the only difference between he and some of the great midfielders that we talk about is that Premier League title. And the fact that even some of the top guys, they were not winning the Premier League title, but at least they were competing. Unfortunately for Bruno, his Man United side has not been able to have a proper title challenge or win anything significant since he came. And that's the only difference. But in terms of the player and the players' performances and the players, what he does on the pitch, I don't think there has been a better midfielder in the Premier League since he stepped into the Premier League. He is the best. And United need to give him something. He has to win something significant, or else it will be a very painful end to a career if he's not able to lift something significant with Man United.
So as far as you're concerned, ever since Bruno Fernandes walked into the Premier League, there's been no midfielder that has performed better than him at any point.
No, the numbers don't lie. The numbers do not lie. the other midfielders who have been in better teams than him. Their teams have done better. But in terms of player performance, individual performance, nobody has played better football than Bruno.
Are you saying that this season, Bruno Fernandes is having a better individual season, for example, than, I don't know, different positions, all right, but maybe than a player like Declan Rice?
Yes, he is. Look, Bruno Fernandes, when Man United had Amorim, he was playing in an unfamiliar position in central midfield, yet he was on top of assists in the Premier League. He had created the most chances in the Premier League. So he's not one of those players who will beg you, I need to play in this position with this type of players in this environment. It doesn't matter where you put him. He will function and he'll give you, you top-level performance.
So even for this season, best midfielder in the league?
He is.
Better than Caicedo?
He's the best midfielder in the league.
Better than Declan Rice?
He's the best midfielder in the league. Declan Rice's job this season has involved a bit more offensive duties.
He has 4 goals.
Yes, and created some. He's, I think, second or third behind Bruno Fernandes in terms of chances created. Bruno Fernandes has played a chunk of the season in central midfield, so you can't compare them in a way. Of course, different rules, but you can't compare them in a way. And I'm saying that the numbers don't lie. They are there. You can go and check. They are there. The fact that United is not doing as well as Arsenal is doing or have not done as well as Man City have done doesn't mean that the players for Man City are now better than him. Individual performance, he stands head and shoulders above them all.
Interesting. That is a very interesting claim from Daniel Cranting. Bruno Fernandes, best midfielder in the Premier League this season. And he goes back to say, even since the day he walked into the Premier League, no other midfielder, cumulatively, has been better than Bruno Fernandes. Is that up for contention or you think that is fast? Let me know. But, DK, we cannot move on without talking about the biggest talking point from this particular match. The penalty incident that was awarded Cunha. 2 things. 1, was it a penalty? And 2, was it a red card?
Was it a penalty? Yes, it was a penalty.
How was it a penalty? How? No. You said you can't just say it was a penalty and you don't expect me to, because there's been contention about whether or not the contact happened inside the box. Or whether even after it started outside the box, it carried onto the box.
But when they paused the frame when he was on the line, was Maxime Lacroix, was his hand on Bruno's shoulder, yes or no? Wait, this here. Is he on the line or is not on the line?
But the hand is going off. His hand is leaving his body.
I'm asking you 2 questions.
Yes.
Is Maxime Lacroix, is he touching Bruno at this point?
Yes
or no?
But I have a question for you.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I'm asking you 2 questions. When you finish answering my question,
okay, fine, yes.
Is his left hand on Bruno's shoulder?
Yes.
Is Bruno on the line?
Yes.
It's a penalty.
My question to you, by this time, was he already going down or not?
He was going down.
Good. So it's not this contact, it's not this touch on the line that's making him go down, correct?
If the hand had come off 2 inches behind, it would have been a free kick. The hand was still on Bruno, Matheus Cunha. In fact, he removed his hand and put it there again, briefly before he took it off. Look at Maxime Lacroix. He removed his hand. It starts here.
Good. No, Benaya, excellent.
So he's pulling him back.
At this point, right, this is where he's pulling him.
Yeah.
At this point,
it's not a penalty,
we can all conclude that Cunha was already going down. So this was the contact.
No, Cunha wasn't going down here.
Hold on.
Cunha was fighting to break free.
At this point, DK, that this touch here, now, outside the box, was not enough for Cunha to go down.
I'm not Cunha. Do you determine what is enough
but
for
he's
him
going down. You can't look at this frame, that DK.
He's not going down. He's running.
Cunha is not going down.
He's not going down. He's running for the ball. And he's being pulled back by Maxime Lacroix. He's pulling him back. Now, you and I don't determine when and how Matheus Cunha should go down.
No, we can determine.
We can't determine when
contact. You can't just go down.
No, there are players who are being pulled and they try and struggle.
Yes.
It reaches a point they realize that they are not strong enough to wrestle away from.
But not after they've been let go.
No. That's why I asked you the simple question. As at the time.
So wait. Now wait for it.
See that he touched him again.
The way he.
No, but now look at this. He's going to remove his hand. Slow it down. Maxime Lacroix, you can play now. Maxime Lacroix is going to remove his hand. He takes his hand off. What does he do? And he hits him again.
He didn't hit him.
He hit him again. He touched him.
Okay,
didn't
fair
see.
enough.
It's a penalty.
So for you, penalty.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't think it was a red card.
Second question. Yes. So you don't think it was red?
I don't think it was a red card because it's, for me, at that angle, it's not your typical 1v1 angle.
Right.
Cunha still had some work to do. He still had to readjust his body and come at the goalkeeper. And it's similar to the Maguire and Salah incident. That's why I don't agree with it. Earlier this season, Bruno Fernandes was through. First game of the season, long ball is played, Bruno Fernandes is through on goal, and Zubimendi backs into him. If you pause the frame, as similar as this one, it looked like it was a last man tackle because Zubimendi was the last Arsenal defender. If he hadn't touched Bruno Fernandes was going through on goal. He still would have had to adjust himself in goal. But they explained that at that angle, it's not your typical last man. Similar thing to the Salah thing. Then this Cunha one, they are telling us it's a red card. So then it's just about the consistency. If it happens first time and you explain it, and we see it happen again and you explain it, then it begins to make sense, and then we are beginning to accept it. Then this one happens and you say...
So this white frame is a perfect one, right?
Yeah.
At this point, like you're saying, look at where Cunha is. At the moment he went down, there was nowhere, and there's no way Cunha was the last man at any point. So, and it wasn't obviously violent conduct, so it couldn't have been... And yes, and there's another centre-back up there, as you indicated, too, who had the cover, who was in front of the United player.
Yeah, but in saying that also, if you are going strictly according to the letter of the law, Maxime Lacroix didn't attempt to play the ball. He was clearly intentionally obstructing Mateus Cunha. You don't tell Cunha, or you don't tell the referee how Cunha is now going to adjust himself. Cunha was the closest player to the goalkeeper as at that point. There was the defender that was covering another Man U player, would have had to leave that Man U player to come in. So you can also argue that in that case, it is technically a last man. So it's down to discretion. I understand why the referee would give it, but if I was a referee, I would not give it as a red card.
0551575757. Why? Then thief give Man U, or I want to hear from you. Anyway. Let's take some more highlights. Liverpool versus West Ham and Manchester City versus Leeds United. So Anton Semenyo doing it again. This guy just can't stop scoring, my friend. Like it's crazy how much of an immediate impact Semenyo has become at Manchester City. And you can't just shake off all of the negativity when he was going there. Like a lot of, especially among many Ghanaians, you thought, I received so many messages from people who were like, hey, is he going to get something to play? Like, this is, I mean, why is he going there? City is already should have gone to this. But clearly, like, he just looks like he's been there forever.
Look, I think those were valid concerns. He's our star player. We are going to a World Cup. We want our best players to be playing regularly. Manchester City do have a habit of bringing in star quality and sticking them on the bench. We saw what happened to Mamouche last season. Came into the Premier League as the top scorer in the Bundesliga, and hardly got a sniff. And today he's a big part player. So if Ghanaian fans were worried about Semenyo going to Man City, I think it made sense. It was up to Semenyo to go in there and prove why he should start game in, game out. And I think he's done the job. And that is credit to him. And we are all happy. 14 league goals, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And he's not playing as a centre forward. He's not playing as the main goal threat. But yet still, he's proven to be a reliable goal scorer. Done it first half of the season with a mid-table team. Second half of the season with a team chasing the championship. And it's shown that he can step up to that level if need be. So it's credit to him. Obviously, I don't really say credit to Man City. Everybody wanted him because he's showing why everybody wanted him, in fact. Yeah. And I'm really happy that he's doing well. We know he's a very good goal-scoring forward player, wide player. He's not the one who will pick up the ball and dazzle, and he's not an advert player. The sweetest advert is a goal. and he knows how to score goals. And that is why he's efficient. That is why he's useful at the top level. And just hope that he can continue this fine form into the World Cup, because if he can give us 3-4 goals at the World Cup, this is a CAF champion. This is a CAF Player of the Year we are looking at.
Absolutely. And that victory took Manchester City to within 2 points of Arsenal before Arsenal faced Chelsea on Sunday's late kickoff match. And this is how it went down at the Emirates. All right, so that's another victory for Mikel Arteta. And against Chelsea, he's never lost against Chelsea. That's crazy. And that's the Premier League table, top 10. So Arsenal still with the 5-point lead, even though they've played one game more than Manchester City. And you've got Man United move up to 3rd, Aston Villa just behind, Liverpool as well before Chelsea. So Chelsea is slipping down to 6th position in the Premier League table, and Brentford only 2 points behind them. So things not looking good for the Blues so far this season. And it just looks like it's all falling apart. But this game had a lot of talking points, including potential penalties for Chelsea and a lot of holdings in the box. Now, notably, all 3 goals came from set pieces, and that has attracted a lot of comments from a lot of people, Yaya Toure being one of them, saying that he didn't enjoy the game because the 2 teams just didn't create much, and that 3 goals from set pieces was a little disappointing, especially for a derby match. He wasn't the only one. Danica, let's go through some of the movements in the game. A lot of the holding, a lot of the punching. This was the Arsenal 2nd goal. No, this was
just a normal
a normal play. This was where I think people believe Chelsea should have had the penalty. This was a corner kick, where Declan Rice handled the ball at this incident. And it's just so much holding that it's caused outrage on the internet. There is the Viraya punching João Pedro. There's Saliba absolutely wrapped his hands around João Pedro as well. Then there is, who is holding Chalobah?
Timber.
There's Jurriën Timber holding Chalobah, and there's just so much going on. And to be fair, this is not just an Arsenal thing. Someone pointed out that this had been going on for this season, for better part of this season. It's been going on in several matches where the referees have just decided to look the other way. I mean, what is going on? Because surely, we know football is contact sport, but there has to be a point. And look at that. That is Hinkampi on, is that Santos?
Yeah. He's arrested.
Hato, yes.
Hato.
That is, so there's like 3, and look at Sai is already on the floor.
So he's not strong. So.
I mean, DK, this was chaotic. This is crazy. I guess, I don't know, what is it about the officiating that is overlooking these things, including VAR? Because on another day, in a different season, in another league, Chelsea could easily get 5 penalties from the same incident, from the same sequence.
Yeah, and they could also have fouls in there. We saw Raya's super save from the near post. He was being manhandled. He had to wrestle himself away from the Chelsea
That's why I said attacker. It's not just an Arsenal.
It's a very
but that was the peak of it.
Look, friends, I'll say I'm happy. I'm happy this thing is happening, because in the past, when it wasn't so much prevalent, and the teams who were victims to it were complaining, they were told to man up. Premier League, they said it was a contact sport. The Premier League, the culture of English football is built on physicality. It's something they like. So referees were allowing it to happen. They told Wenger to man up, that Arsenal were crybabies. So then they manned up. Now there's Saliba, who is strong, who can arrest you. You can't go anywhere. There's Gabriel, who is strong. There's Timber. When he pins you down, you're not going anywhere. And it's happening. Brentford, every team is doing it.
Yeah.
Every team is doing it. We saw Monday night, Man United. Lamens literally had to beg to move off his line. It's trying to wrestle players. They are literally holding the guy.
It's crazy.
And
it's a menace.
Foul. Nothing is a foul. But it should happen and happen and happen where it reaches a point and then the referees committee realize that it's too much. Because if 1 or 2 teams are complaining, nobody will care. But if everybody starts complaining about it, then something will change. Because I don't understand why you can arrest somebody.
It's just not
The
acceptable.
guy held Chaluba, and Chaluba couldn't even jump. He's pinned him down. He's not attempting to play the ball. Timber has held
that's the
him.
thing. The ball wasn't even coming
He doesn't
in.
care. He has arrested him like the way Baumi arrested the CD. Arrested the guy, and the guy cannot move. You get it? If this thing happens outside the box, if it's a goal kick and the keeper hits a long one, Maguire holds you small, no P foul.
It's a foul. That's true.
But if it's happening during the corner, it's not a foul.
No.
And I'm like, okay, fine. It should keep happening. And at the end, don't be surprised if at the end of the season, when they go to their meetings, they put something to stop this thing. Because it doesn't make sense. There are smart ways to go out.
Scandalous is the fact that they are not even being reviewed.
No. A review for it. Everybody is doing it. Who are they going to review and what are they going to review?
That's why I said Chelsea could get 5 penalties from the same
The clip
sequence.
that Benash, I think was the second one he showed.
Yeah.
Hato had grabbed Rice. Rice's head was inside his armpit. That one, what are you going to say? I'm holding you something to holding you somewhere. We all hold. Wherever the ball lands, we move. At the end of the day, it's a contact sport. But something will happen because now we all can see it's getting ridiculous. So by all means, when the season ends and they go into that their meeting and they are doing their reviews.
Look at this.
They will,
What is Saliba doing?
No, mine is Raya. Raya, no, I love him because the first second
Saliba
instance.
held him, then he punched him in the head.
Yes, because the first second is Bayinda this season. Saliba came to knock his hand and the ball entered the point. They told the keepers to be stronger. When Lamens was complaining last week, what they said was the keepers need to be stronger. So what will Raya do? He will come out of his box and he will punch ball and head and whoever he can get the ball. Because at the end of the day, if you suffer a foul, they're not going to take it.
What is Hikampe doing? I don't understand that part.
No, that's Rice. Rice?
Is that Rice?
That's
Rice and Hato.
He's not even looking at the ball.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So Hato is looking at
the ball. Rice is not even looking at the ball.
So Hato is trying
He's
to
pushing
play
the guy somewhere.
And you know that's how they conceded. Because when they conceded, Rice was
wasn't-
chasing another player somewhere. Wasn't looking at where the ball was. But Bernard, do we have the handball incident? Because that also potentially, this is from the same sequence where Chelsea probably should have had a penalty because Rice basically flicked the ball with his elbow, and now people are telling us all kinds of stories that it hits his jersey and that it touched his slip and why, some different things. But okay, the set piece goal. Chelsea, by the way, another red card.
Yeah, solid. So now joint record. 9 red cards in the Premier League. Solid. Very indisciplined team. It's very disappointing because
Look at this.
How do you even build a tactical plan around a team that will consistently keep on getting red cards? And it was so silly. 2 minutes before that, he had gotten a yellow card
For complaining.
For complaining. And then they said he didn't know he had.
No, he said
he didn't know he had a yellow card. Meanwhile, when they gave him the yellow card in the clip, he kept on complaining. It was James who told him to get back.
Yes.
And then look at the tackle that he goes to tackle.
Very needless.
Needless and silly. It's not one of those things where he led with his stats.
It's left with 2.
It's left with 2.
And then
he's set.
Everybody has to receive some.
Charlie.
If the coach was there, he will also be part.
Hasn't the coach received it?
No. Maresca said he's gone. This one hasn't received red. Maresca has gotten a red.
Yeah, Maresca has got red.
But hey, you have something to say about set piece goals this season?
Yeah. So I've heard a lot of chatter about set pieces and how you spoke about the Yaya Toure situation. The 3 goals were from set pieces. He doesn't like it. And most of it has been geared towards Arsenal.
Okay.
So it's like an Arsenal thing. Arsenal, they can score without set pieces. But the thing is, I have a problem with how the information has been presented to us. Yeah. Because it's a certain narrative which doesn't tell the whole picture. Okay. And I think it's very false. So this is a Premier League breakdown for goals last season. So in total, there were 2,955 goals scored in the Premier League. 826 of them came through set pieces. That's non-penalty set pieces. So corners, free kicks, and that represented 27.9%. And then 71.4% came from open play goals. This is from last season. Then we look at the comparison to this season at this point. At this point in time this season, the set piece goals, percentage of goals from set pieces, 27.5. That's just a 0.4 difference from last season. But there's been a significant drop in terms of open play goals across the Premier League. Now, this is representative of all Premier League teams, not just Arsenal.
Yeah.
Then we go
obviously, one team starts tilts their skill.
Then we go to most set-piece goals this season. These are the top 5 teams with the most set-piece goals. And then it's Arsenal, Newcastle, Chelsea, Leeds United, and Bournemouth. But I want us to take a look at the 3 teams at the top. Arsenal, Newcastle, and Chelsea. These teams are all in the Champions League. As I go on, I'll explain something. So Arsenal, in terms of non-penalty set pieces, they are leading with 19, 16 from corners, the rest of the 3 from long throws, free kicks. Newcastle with 14, Chelsea with 12, but Chelsea have 7 penalties. That's why it tilts their total set piece goals to 19. But essentially, Arsenal, Newcastle, and Chelsea are leading the way. These are the teams that have the most goals from set pieces. Then we come to open play goals this season. So in as much as Arsenal are top of most set piece goals, only Man City this season have scored more open play goals than Arsenal.
So it's a combined approach.
So it's exactly.
Approach.
So if you say Arsenal are reliant on set pieces, that's false. Because apart from Manchester City, they are better than everybody else in the league when it comes to scoring goals from open play.
It can also be true, but it also doesn't mean that's the only thing.
That's the only, exactly. That's what I'm saying. When you present the narrative as if Arsenal rely on set pieces, that's not true. Because they have aside Man City, as I've said, so 48 goals for Man City from open play, that's the highest number. Then 32 for Arsenal, 31 for Man U, and so on. But when you look at it, the percentage of goals from open play, that's where it begins to find the difference. So Manchester City are reliant on open play. They have 84% of their goals coming from open play. Arsenal have 55% of their goals coming from open play. So it's almost half-half. It's a balanced approach that they are top of set pieces, second top in terms of open play. Then you have your Man United, who are 62%, Aston Villa 71%, Liverpool 53%, but nobody's talking about them. Liverpool 53% of their goals coming from open play, the rest from set pieces and penalties. But now the picture is beginning to get clearer. We are looking at the teams who have the lowest open play percentage goals this season. In as much as Arsenal have the second most open play, their percentage is low because of the balanced approach. So the more open play goals, they've scored the most goals this season. Arsenal have the best attack in the Premier League this season. Just 1 goal more than Manchester City. But it's almost half-half. So they will fall within this bracket, but doesn't mean that it is a reliance on it in terms of the complete picture. So there's Crystal Palace.
It defines them.
It defines them. So there's Crystal Palace, Newcastle again, as we saw earlier. And I said put those 3 teams, Arsenal, Newcastle, and Chelsea. Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Leeds United, Wolves, and Arsenal in terms of percentage of open play goals this season. And the primary alternative source, so you look at Crystal Palace, most of them have come through set pieces and penalties. Arsenal is corners. That's a chunk of them have come. Newcastle, corners and indirect free kicks. They've done the breakdown for us. But then we move here. This is the last 10 years in the Premier League.
Percentage of non-penalty set piece goals.
Thank you very much. And there's been a significant increase this season.
Yes.
So from 20% last season, there's been a 7% increase in set piece goals this season.
Difference.
And we saw it at the beginning when I showed you the breakdown of goals and how there's significant drop in terms of open play goals. So this is across the Premier League. All the teams have dropped in terms of their percentage. In fact, in the Premier League, out of 20 teams, there are only 8 teams that are averaging at least 1 open play goal per game. The rest of the 12 teams are averaging less than 1 open play goal per game. So it shows you that it is not just an Arsenal thing, it is an entire Premier League thing. And there's an explanation for that. Earlier this season, during the Champions League, they asked Anthony Gordon a question, why it seemed as if Newcastle were doing much better in the Champions League than the Premier League. And he mentioned the intensity and the defense structure. Now, the way Premier League teams defend, the intensity, the speed, it is very difficult for you to now have space, time to be able to build. And over the years, we've been seeing it. Teams and managers have been studying it. So it is smart for you to rely on set pieces or specialize in set pieces to have a way to an opportunity to get goals, rather than try and force your way and trying to create chances from open play when it's just not going to work because of how defenses are structured now. And that is a Premier League thing. So when they go out of the Premier League to the Champions League, and it's here, these are the numbers. Quickly, Chelsea, who have 59% open play goals in the Premier League jumped to 70% in the Champions League. Arsenal from 55% to 60% in the Champions League. And Arsenal have scored the most goals also in the Champions League. Newcastle, interestingly, who were number 2 on that list, from 51% in the Premier League, have a 90%. In fact, Newcastle have not scored a single set-piece goal in the Champions League. So when they move and they change the environment, because of the European teams don't defend as intensely as Premier League teams, so it is different and it's easier for them to adapt. So I always say that people need to look at the numbers as a whole and you understand it. But when you present it a certain way, you are not informing, you are misinforming, and it's a certain narrative. But this educates, this doesn't form an agenda. You understand why Premier League teams are focusing down on set pieces.
This is establishing the trend.
Exactly, and it makes sense as to why the trend is going this certain way.
Fantastic, Danny Case. Thank you very much. And that is a brilliant way to bring the show to an end this evening here on Sports Show. So broadly brought to you by Piva Beverages, producers of Piva Viva. Put one in your child's bag tomorrow for school. It's amazing, this strawberry drink. Also by Soccer Bet and also by Guinness. My name is Fentio, Daniel Cranton joined me here tonight. We appreciate your time. We thank you for spending your evening with us. We're back again next Monday. Until then, do take care and bye-bye.